Hi, I'm Mrs. D Math. Thanks for joining me today. We're going to be learning about independent and dependent probability in 7th grade math. So let's go ahead and get started. You may be wondering, what do we mean when we're talking about independent or dependent probability? We've learned about single events and how to use the words or and. But what about two separate actions? Here we're going to talk about independent, which means the outcome of the first event has no effect on the outcome of the second event. This would be like flipping a coin or rolling a die. Every time I roll a die, there's going to be 6 numbers on the die. Every time I flip a coin, there's going to be a heads or a tails. If I'm talking about dependent probability, the outcome of the first event does affect the outcome of the second event. This would be such as pulling a marble out of a bag or pulling a card out of a deck. So if I do either of those actions and I don't return the marble or the card, then it's going to change the probability of this second event. Independent probability means that each action happens separately. Dependent probability means the second action depends on what happens after the first action. Let's talk about independent probability first. The outcome of the first event has no effect on the outcome of the second event. So the first thing we're going to look at is flipping a coin and rolling a die. When I flip a coin, I'm going to have a 1 out of 2 chance of landing on heads. And then if I roll a die, I want to roll a 3, I have a 1 out of 6 chance in rolling a 3. I'm going to multiply those together, and I can see that the probability of flipping a heads and rolling a 3 is 1 in 12. So there's a 1 in 12 chance that I'm going to do both of those one after the other. That's only going to be 8.3%. So that's a very small percentage, which means this is highly unlikely that I'm going to actually flip a heads and roll a 3. The reason this is an independent probability is because rolling a die does not affect flipping a coin in any way. Let's look at spinning a spinner. If I spin the spinner and I have 5 possible options, one of them is red. That is a 1 in 5 chance. And then the second time I spin the spinner, I want to get a blue. So the probability of spinning and getting a red and then a blue is a 1 in 5 chance again, because every time I spin the spinner, all 5 colors are still there. So now I'm going to multiply that together. That's a 1 in 25 chance, which is even smaller than 1 in 12. So that is a 4% chance. So it is very unlikely that I'm going to spin the spinner 2 times and get a red the first time and a blue the second time. But we can see that the spinner, every time I spin, has all 5 colors still there. So it's not going to be affecting the outcome of either event, which means this is an independent probability problem. So now let's look at dependent probability. Dependent probability says the outcome of the first event does affect the outcome of the second event. Let's see what that looks like. So here I have an example with marbles. And the key thing here is that it tells me that it is without replacement. So that means that I'm going to draw a red and then a blue. I can see my sample space down here at the bottom. So I have 4 red, 3 blue, 2 green, and 1 white, which totals out to 10 possibilities in the bag. So let's go ahead and see what this looks like without replacement. So first I want to find the probability of a red. So the first time I reach in the bag, I have 4 out of 10 marbles that are red. Then it says without replacement. So I'm going to essentially not have a red marble in there, which means now to draw a blue marble on my second try, I have 3 blue marbles, but now there's only 9 total marbles. So notice that dependent probability made an adjustment to my denominator. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the math here. I can still reduce, so let's go ahead and reduce first. I can reduce 4/10 to equal 2/5. I can reduce 3/9 to equal 1/3. So now I'm going to do 2 times 1 and 5 times 3. So I have a 2 in 15 chance, which equals 13%. So I only have a 13% of drawing a red, then a blue marble, which is really a small percentage. Let's check out another example. Now we have a little bit different sample space. Notice there's only 9 marbles instead of 10. And now I want to pick a red and then a red, also without replacement. So the probability of getting a red on the first try is going to be 4 out of 9, because if I add these up, I only have 9 marbles this time. And I'm going to multiply that times drawing another red. Again, one of my reds is missing. So now I only have 3 reds out of 8 marbles because I took one out and I kept it out. So now let's figure this one out. So I can reduce crossways as well. So that's 1 out of 2. This is 1 out of 3. So now I have 1 times 1 on the top, 3 times 2 on the bottom. The percentage of 1/6 is only 16%. So that is also a small percentage, but notice it's a little bit higher than the other one, probably because there's more marbles in the bag on the first one, which means that I have a smaller possibility of actually getting it. 4 out of 10 is smaller than 4 out of 9. So that's going to be the difference there. Now let's look at dependent versus independent. So now we're going to go back to this first one over here, and we can see that it now says with replacement, which means I'm going to put this marble back that I took out earlier. Now that I've put the red marble back, I'm back at 10 marbles, and with replacement means I'm going to draw a red, so 4 out of 10, and then when I draw a blue, I've put the red back. So there's still 10 marbles in the bag. So this is essentially what we've practiced in the past. So now I'm going to still reduce. I'm going to reduce my 4 and 10, so that's 2 and 5. I can still reduce again, but let's go ahead and multiply and then we'll reduce at the end. So 2 times 3 is 6. 5 times 10 is 50. I do know I can divide both of those by 2, so I have a 3 in 25 chance of pulling out a red marble and then a blue marble with replacement. That equals 12%. So notice it's actually a smaller percentage when I put the marble back, probably because my denominator is bigger. But let's see if that happens every single time. So now let's go to this other one. Now we're going to do with replacement here. So I'm going to put that red marble back. Now I still have 9 in this situation because this bag had less marbles. Remember, there's no white in this one. So a red, then a red. So same situation, but with replacement. So now that 4/9 is going to stay 4/9. I can't reduce anything here, so I'm going to multiply top times top, bottom times bottom. And when I do the math on this one, it actually comes out to 19%. So this one's actually a higher percentage than without replacement. So let's look at a little bit of the difference here. So the difference is the first one, I did 2 different colors. So that adjusts things a little bit. And then on the second one, I did the same color both times. So it just kind of depends on the situation. Sometimes with replacement is going to be a higher percentage. Sometimes it's going to be a smaller percentage. But in this case, you can see that some of the other factors are going to affect it. But now you can see the difference in dependent, where I don't replace it, and independent, where I do replace it. Now let's look at an example with some playing cards. So we're just going to look at the cards that are not number cards. So we've got Jack through Ace. There is 4 of each one. So I've listed out the sample space here. So we have a Jack of Clubs, Jack of Spades, Jack of Diamonds, Jack of Hearts. So if you don't know what those letters stand for. And then there's going to be the same thing for Queens, Kings, and Aces. So that means that there's 4 of each type of card here. That's going to equal a total of 16. So we're going to first look here at without replacement. If I'm pulling an ace out of this deck, there are 4 aces out of 16 cards right now. Once I pull out an ace, so we're just going to get rid of this front ace, then I'm going to say there's now 3 aces left out of 15 cards. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and reduce. I have 1 out of 4 and 1 out of 5, so that's going to equal 1/20th. So 1 divided by 20 is actually 5%. So I only have a 5% chance of drawing an ace and then drawing another ace when I don't replace it. So now let's look at with replacement. So same situation, an ace, then an ace. So I have a 4 in 16 chance of drawing an ace, but I'm going to put it back this time. So now that's a 4 in 16 chance. So the chances here are the same. I'm going to go ahead and reduce it. So I know this is 1/4, and I know this one is also 1/4, which equals 1/16. And I know that 1/16 is a little bit bigger than 1/20th. If I do the math, it comes out to 6.25%. So it's just a little bit larger than the without replacement. So let's look at what changed between dependent without replacement and independent with replacement. So dependent, the only thing that changed was my second fraction. So when I pulled an ace out and I did not put it back, I ended up having a smaller numerator and a smaller denominator because everything went down by 1 since I had removed one of those aces. Thank you for joining me today as we learned about independent and dependent probability in 7th grade math. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our future videos. I'm Mrs. D Math. Have a great day. Bye.